Hello, hello, gorgeous people. Welcome to Divorce the Next Chapter. This is our next episode, The Red Flags of Narcissism. So, we're going to tell it like it is because ain't nobody got time for sugarcoating and fluff and puff. I'm going to get right to it. I am going to give you 3 common red flags of narcissism in relationships, and then I'm going to give you 3 a little uncommon. Maybe they're there, but you don't really realize it because it's not, that red flag's not waving in your face. You know what I mean? So let's get to it. So these are sneaky little signs that you are dealing with a narcissist and their narcissistic behaviors. So the reason why I want to talk about it is because I want you to be able to recognize it. Now, not all narcissists display these behaviors. These are not all inclusive. Some might display some and not others. I think there's a lot of overlapping. There's a couple of different forms of narcissism. You have your covert narcissist, you have your malignant narcissist. So some red flags wave harder than others, depending on what kind of narcissist you're dealing with. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a lot of common, and I think more and more people are talking about it, so it is a little bit more common knowledge on the common signs of narcissism. So let's get right into it. What are 3 common red flags of narcissism? The number 1, of course, is love bombing. So what's love bombing? I think we all kind of know what love bombing is, but love bombing is like you meet and go on 2 dates and all of a sudden they're telling you how much they love you and how much they want to spend their life with you and they want to move in with you, and they're giving you all the compliments and they're bringing you flowers and they buy you jewelry, and it's only been a couple of weeks. This is love bombing. And when you're first dating someone, you could get very swept up in it, and the end results, that the what they want is manipulation and control. They want you to be so swept up in it and you're so enamored, and this guy is so great, and look, he's taking me to dinner, he's taking me to shows, he's taking me here, he's buying me flowers, and blah 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 blah. It's all a facade. It's all a facade, okay? Love bombing. That's number 1. Number 2, lack of empathy. So it's like your feelings don't matter. They will do things and it doesn't matter to them how it affects you. It's they listen to you and really with the motivation of finding the holes and finding your weaknesses so they could prey on them later. It goes into like a little file bank in their head. They are very empathy challenged narcissists. So they act like they feel bad, but really their motivation is a different story. They don't really feel bad. That's why when they do things and you call them out on it, they don't care because they lack empathy. They don't have the ability to care about what other people feel. Not what other people think, that's different, what other people feel, okay? Because it's very self-centered. Narcissist is very selfish, and everything is about me, myself, and I. It's not about we. So, lack of empathy. The other very common and I think very overused narcissistic behavior is gaslighting. Gaslighting is their favorite tool. So what gaslighting does is basically they're telling you a story that isn't true. It's a twisted perception of reality, but it is their reality. So when you say, you did this and it hurt my feelings. Not only do they have the lack of empathy that they don't really care about your feelings, they're going to twist and gaslight you and tell you that that's not how it happened. And they might make you believe that you said things that you didn't say because they're going to twist your words around. It's designed to make you feel crazy, super confused, and like you lost your grip on reality, because now you start questioning yourself, like, did that really happen? I don't know if that happened. Maybe it didn't happen. And you start really seriously questioning yourself, like, what is going on? Meanwhile, they've gaslit you into believing their version of reality when you know it's not. So love bombing, a lack of empathy, and gaslighting. 3 very common. You could see it across any type of narcissist, across the board. Okay? 3 uncommon. So now there's a lot of hidden, lurking in the shadows type of narcissist behavior that you might not overtly recognize and be like, oh my God, he's such a narcissist. No, because love bombing is pretty obvious once you know what it is, right? Lack of empathy is also obvious once you know what it is, and so is gaslighting. Once you start to feel crazy and start to question yourself and start saying things out loud to realize that you kind of know what gaslighting is. But there are certain things that maybe we don't put into that red flag category. So here, number 1, the constant need for validation. They constantly need validation because they need to be the center of attention. They need everybody to pay attention to them. They need their ego inflated. It's, throwing a tantrum. It's guilt tripping. It's just you didn't stroke their ego enough. So if you didn't compliment them or you didn't validate what they did or what they said, they're going to pick fight with you. So I'm going to give you an example of when I was in my relationship, and I used to say it out loud, but I never realized that this is part of it. It never dawned on me that this was part of it. And I used to say, you constantly need me to validate you. So he bought, there's so many of them, but I'll give you one. He bought luggage, okay? And it's Burton luggage. Burton is a snowboarding company. He snowboarded. They were nice pieces of luggage. It was a large and a small, and a large and a small. They were matching, and it was different patterns, and they were really cool. I liked them. But okay, it's fucking luggage, all right? Every single time we had to take the luggage out for a different trip or different whatever, I had to validate and stroke his ego about buying the luggage. It was utterly ridiculous. I'm talking years. Now, I understand the first time, oh, the luggage is great. Oh, yeah, it worked great. Oh, yeah. And that's it. You drop it. It's fucking luggage. No. It was every single time. And you got to understand, for a very long time, 6 to 8 years, I was traveling with my daughter for tournaments all across the country. So I used that luggage a lot. And it was every single time. Utterly ridiculous. Towards the end, I would call him out on silly things like this. I would call him out like, you constantly need validation because you bought a mattress. Because you bought, who cares? It's a mattress. Like, ridiculous. But the constant need for validation is classic because they have to be the center of attention. They have to be admired. They have to be the hero. You see what I'm saying? Number 2, ruining holidays or special occasions. Ruining holidays or special occasions. They intentionally spoil or ruin a celebratory moment. Whatever that celebratory moment is. It could be Christmas. It could be your birthday. It could be Valentine's Day. It could be anything, okay? maybe they cause you to be late. Maybe they, pick a fight with you. It just, they can't handle not being the center of attention. So because the celebration, whether it be the holiday, the Christmas, the birthday, whatever, is not centered around them, they're going to make it centered around them by ruining it. Doesn't matter whether it's good attention or bad attention. Attention is attention. So they're going to shift them focus onto them. Play the victim. Okay? It's just a tool of manipulation. Years and years and years ago, when we were first dating and we first moved in together, we lived in an apartment. This should have been like my huge fucking red flag hitting me over the head. But it was my birthday. And my birthday's in October. And he, talked to my best girlfriend at the time and planned this whole thing, allegedly. And, it was going to be a surprise. Get her out of the apartment for a couple of hours so that way I could set up. So she said, okay. So I went to yoga and I was gone for like a couple of hours, 3 hours or so. And when I came back, there was no surprise. There was nothing. There was nothing for my birthday. There was nothing. So it started way back then, but I was very naive to this whole thing. So I didn't realize that that's what was going on, that this was part of a narcissistic behavior pattern. But ruining holidays and special occasions, numerous times we were late for pretty much every holiday, to the point where my family would tell me like a 2 hour before time. Like if the holiday was happening at 6, they would tell you, oh, come at 4. Because they knew that he was going to ruin it by being 2 hours late. He did it every fucking holiday. And then finally now I'm all pissed off because we're late and everybody's waiting for us to eat dinner and blah, blah, blah. He didn't give a fuck. He didn't give a shit about anything. And then he would go to the holiday. He wouldn't talk to anybody. He wouldn't socialize. He would sit down on the couch and fall asleep. Like, so many times I can't even count. So ruining holidays or special occasions. And then what happens is they ruin a birthday for you. They ruin Valentine's Day for you. They ruin a Christmas or whatever it is. Then the next holiday, you're going to remember what happened the holiday before, that how they ruined it. It's straight out of the narcissist playbook, but it's not so spoken about. People are, not wise to it, but it is. The third one we're going to say is victimhood acting or playing the victim. Maybe this is a little bit more common or more known, but it's constant. They play the victim. Everything is everybody else's fault. They act hurt. They act wronged. They shift blame to garner sympathy. He was constantly late for everything, and he would shift blame on everybody else, on whatever. But when it came down to it is he procrastinated, and he did it on purpose because it wasn't about him. Like, they just flip the script and become the victim. He did it with his job. He did it with, everything. It's scapegoating. They know how to play the victim. So he would play the victim with his job. He would be late all the time. He would be racing to work. He had to clock in at a certain time. I think it was 7 a.m. And, they were after him. They were just waiting for him to misstep so they could fire him. And this was when he worked at the cable company. And he did it at other jobs. So but it was everybody else's fault. Oh, I got held up in the parking lot and I couldn't clock in at 7 o'clock. I clocked in at 7:05. No, you left the house 10 minutes later than you should have, and you got late to work. Like, just everything was playing the victim. Everything was blaming everybody else. Everything was scapegoating. And this is why I can't do this. And, I could go on and on about it. But if they play the victim and they're constantly not taking any kind of accountability or responsibility for their actions, it is a huge red flag of narcissistic behaviors. So there are many signs. I could go on and list a bunch of them. Recognizing these signs are your first step into thriving beyond all of the drama. Okay. If you've been through the hellfire of a narcissistic relationship, I want to tell you, congratulations. You are so much stronger than you've ever given yourself credit for, because it is not an easy thing to rise from. I know, but I did it. And it's not easy. It breaks you. So if you're in it and you're rising through it, you are stronger than you think. Just keep going. And if you've already come out the other side, give yourself some grace and let yourself recognize how hard that was. And you're such a strong person because you made it through. Remember, you are not crazy. You are not crazy. You are just awake. This is the best place to be. Remember that. I know it's been short, this episode, but thank you so much for tuning in to Divorce the Next Chapter. If you have a sign, a red flag that you've recognized, write it in the comments if it's one of the ones that I've mentioned, or even better, if it's one that I didn't mention. Put it in the comments for everybody to see. I would love to see what other people experience. Okay? All right. Until next time. Love you. Take care. Bye.